Okay. I'm Laura Downing. I'm a licensed social worker and a victims advocate. I work at Community Refugee and Immigration Services, and I'm here on behalf of our organization. I want to bring attention to a problem going on with the Columbus Police involving language access. So I've been working...
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last little bit of what you said.
A problem involving language access
Okay, thank you.
and police. So I have just a few cases where this has been an issue. This is not exhaustive, it's just the few cases that I threw together today, talking to one of our advocates. In 2017, we had a client who does not speak English. Her former boyfriend stole her car and abducted their child, who he had no custodial rights over. After days of not being able to contact him, she went to his work. He called the police. They came. They only spoke to him because he spoke English. They escorted her off the premises of where he worked without ever giving her a chance to speak to them. In 2017, a client was experiencing abuse from her spouse who speaks English. He was beating her and pointing a gun at her. She called 911. They came. Again, they only spoke to him, who spoke English, and then they left. He did not tell them that he was beating her or threatening her with a gun. We had another client who called the police to report her missing 14-year-old daughter. The police came. They said, "You don't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. Like, sorry." And then that daughter is still missing over a year later. Again, that same person tried to call the police to make a related report. They used her 11-year-old daughter to interpret the entire report. Again, I came with her to the police department to correct a lot of the misinformation they had in the daughter's report. They used a so-called bilingual speaking officer who was not bilingual. He had about as much Spanish as I do from taking 2 years of Spanish in high school 10 years ago, about 10. In 2019, we had Columbus Police accompany Children's Services to remove children from a home. They put the kids in the car and left without ever using interpretation or explaining what was going on to the mother. In 2019, we had a client who was being stalked by her ex at her children's school and at her house. She called the police, and the police used her 12-year-old daughter to report, basically requiring that daughter to help make a police report against her own dad. Someone who the police work with often, who is sort of a bystander that helps with interpretation, was recently beaten almost to death by a group of people that think he works with the police because he's been kind enough to help interpret, although he's not a qualified interpreter.
Thank you so much.